Detroit Lions here to visit the Buffalo Bills. Final week of the preseason. Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker, bringing you tonight's game. The Lions won the toss, have elected to receive as you look at Doug Marrone, 2-1 thus far in the preseason, handling the adversity at the quarterback position among others, and Jim Schwartz in his 5th season as the head coach of the Detroit Lions. 4-12 with the Lions last year after a 10-6 season and a playoff berth prior to that. As you see, Dustin Hopkins trying to push some air out of the ball, teeing it up to kick off. Steve Miller is deep to return for the Lions. And we're on our way. Shorter kick. Miller takes it at his 4. Finds a seam to the right side up past the 30-yard line before he's forced out of bounds at the 36. The kicker, Dustin Hopkins, ends up making the tackle. And after a 33-yard return, the Lions offense comes out onto the field, led by their quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
A little surprised Stafford gets the nod with so much emphasis on injuries. With Matt Stafford having the kind of career in Detroit that kind of started off with hiccups and fits and starts, had a couple of injury-riddled seasons before he got healthy and took him to the playoffs. You kind of like to think he's got enough experience not to need a series in a game like this.
Well, Jim Schwartz said he needed some polish, and he's only hitting 53% of his passes in preseason, but he goes deep on the opening shot, overthrows Patrick Burleson. And it's time now for your Toyota Detroit Lions starting lineup. Riley Reiff, Rob Sims, Dominic Raiola, Larry Warford, the rookie, and Jason Fox over at right tackle are the men up front. Joique Bell at the running back position. Pettigrew and Scheffler, the tight ends. Edwards and Burleson are the receivers. No Calvin Johnson. He will not play tonight. 2nd and 10. Handoff. Bell pushes his way for 4 off of the right side. We'll take a look now at the Buffalo Bills starting defense. Brought to you by Tim Hortons. Up front, Jerron Gilbert, Alan Branch, Corbin Bryant, and Jamie Blatnick will start it out for the Bills. Linebackers, Doughton, Moats, and Bradham. And in the backfield, Butler, Meeks, Williams, and T.J. Heath. Third down and 6. Stafford checking the play at the line. Bills show blitz and they bring it. Little dump underneath. Dropped. It's picked off. Doughton's got it. Gets a block. Heads up the sideline. He's got room out. Brings it all the way back to the 32-yard line before Joique Bell knocks him out of bounds. But a huge play in the opening series for the Bills defense. An interception from Doughton, and there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, there's a flag. There's a couple of flags. There's going to be a personal foul, and there should be. Marcus Doughton picked that ball tipped up, and one of the offensive linemen for the Detroit Lions got a little bit extra down on the sidelines. Yeah, it was, and now the Bills are moving back. I don't think that's a good call by the officials. If you watch what happens on the play at the end of this play, the Detroit player had his hand up in the Bills' face mask, trying to get to the outside to make the tackle. And we'll see what it is.
After the interception, there are 2 fouls, 1 by each team. Illegal block in the back. Intercepting team, number 29. Personal foul, face mask, passing team, number 51. By rule, those penalties offset at the intercepting team's foul, first down.
Yeah, number 51 is Dominic Raiola.
Yeah, no surprise, Raiola. He gets after it sometimes.
Yeah, and you'll watch as he comes off the field. You'll be able to see. Right there's the first penalty there, and right there you see he pulls the. Right there you can see he's got the face mask right there, and watch, he pulls him over, knees him, and then he gets up and he puts his knee on the chest of the defender and grinds it in before he gets up. That was a little extra special.
Well, Raiola figures he's got to be out there. He might as well get some work done. The Bills defense gets the work done on that 3rd down. Come up with the Doughton interception, and Matt Leinart takes the field. His Buffalo Bill debut. Picked up earlier in the week after Kevin Cobb had suffered the concussion against the Redskins. And, of course, E.J. Manuel with the knee surgery after week 2 in the game against Minnesota.
Now they're having, excuse me, Ray, they're having a little trouble getting this spotted. They had the ball 1st and 15 at the 45. Now they move it up to the 40 and they get it lined up.
I wonder if any of these referees' jobs are on the line tonight. 1st and 10 from the 40. Leinart under center. He's back to throw. The lefty flings it down the outside, looking for the home run, and it just gets batted away as he was trying to find Marquise Goodwin.
And you see there Matt Leinart letting him air it out right off the bat down the sidelines. That was a pretty nice throw. Great job of defending him there by Slay. As he gets out, look, his offhand, right hand goes up high, knocks it away. Pretty good throw by Leinart.
A chance there. Brings up a 2nd and 10. And I like the fact they went for the home run ball immediately after the turnover. Got him on their heels. Good play call there from Nathaniel Hackett. Counter play. Choice will get a yard at best. Tim Hortons Buffalo Bills starting offense coming at you. Welch, Legursky, Snow, Caldwell, and Young starting up front tonight. Choice, who just had the carry. Frank Summers at fullback. Lee Smith at tight end. The receivers tonight, Marquise Goodwin and Chris Hogan, get the call to start the ball game.
And you do have to like that first play call. Let Matt Leinart throw it down the field, see if he can make something happen, put the defense on alert at least.
3rd and 9, Leinart from the gun. Completes it to the outside to Brad Smith, but Smith will be short of any possible first down, and the Bills have a decision, and it looks like they're going to punt the football.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much, and we talked to Doug Marrone. He said you've got to be able to try those field goals from the 36, 37, 38-yard line. This is a 39-yard line. It turned into a 57-yard field goal. Not on the first series of the game. Take the punt, see if you can get them pinned down in their own end, and let your defense go to work.
So Sean Powell out to punt for the Bills. Lets it go from midfield. High kick. Can he back this one up? Took a forward roll and rolls into the end zone for a touchback. So with 12:32 to go here in the first quarter, no score. So we'll take a network timeout.
Back here in Orchard Park, the game's still scoreless between the Bills and the Lions here in the first time for our ECMC keys to the game. A very simple key to this game. They have to get to the 53-man roster. Tonight is a night to evaluate players on all different parts of this roster, including the quarterbacks. Try to determine who's going to be there. Then they have other decisions to make about practice squad and things like that. But tonight the key, evaluate these players at many key positions and determine the 53 that'll be ready to start the season a week from Sunday.
Thank you, Mike. And that cut down is 6 o'clock coming up this Saturday, 6 o'clock in the evening. And the Bills have to get to 53. Hand it off to LaShore. He pushes his way up past the 25, a gain of 5. As the Lions have their second possession here of the ball game. Matthew Stafford, their starting quarterback, still out there. Coach Schwartz spoke earlier this week, said Stafford's out there, needs a little more polish. Don't we all?
Well, yeah, that's all sounds good as long as they can protect him, but there's no question the reason people hold these guys out is so that they're fresh and healthy on week 1, not in the week 4 of the preseason.
Quick slant to the outside. Stafford completes it to Edwards. He is brought down after an 11-yard gain.
But no one in the, Ray, you talk about this as Matt Stafford drops back, #1 offense out there for Detroit. They are not playing the #1 defense of the Bills. And Schwartz, Coach Schwartz, you've got to tip your hat to him. He knows that it's a good time for a #1 offense in the NFL to have its way with some guys who are just struggling to make the roster. These are not #1 players, and if Matt Stafford can't look good against a team that was against a defense that was made of guys who don't play that much together, he's not going to look good at any point in the year.
Both guards pulled and smacked into each other in the backfield. Arthur Moats makes the stop after a gain of 2. You might want to take that one out of the playbook.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, watch this guy and this guy. Watch what happens to those two guys as this play goes. Boink. That's not supposed to happen.
Now Larry Warford, the rookie right guard, is the one who shouldn't have pulled and trapped on that one. Rookie mistake. Brings up a 2nd down and 8 for the Lions, and they have flags out as Stafford drew the defensive line offside. Now he's got a man open deep, overshoots Edwards by just a bit. That's the 2nd time tonight they've taken a shot down that side going after TJ Heath.
Offside. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
See there, they called that on Blatnick. As you said, that's the 2nd time they've tried to find Edwards deep, working against Heath. You see there, you see Heath kind of reaching out, keeping an eye on him. But I'll tell you, if you're going to look back, you got to learn to look back while you're still running dead straight.
Yeah, don't look back.
You can't take your foot off the accelerator. You got to run.
Brings up 2nd and 3. Cutback play and close to the 1st down for Mikel LeSure. Arthur Moats in on the tackle. Looks like they're going to mark him just shy. No, they're going to move them chains. 1st down for Detroit. It's the initial 1st down of the ball game. First and 10 from their own 47. The Lions come out in the 2-back set. Play action. Stafford throws it on a line, incomplete. He was looking for Burleson, and Burleson has had trouble getting separation, and he had trouble again.
That looked like it was pretty well defended on the far side.
Butler had
by
it.
Butler, and that would have taken a tremendous throw. Maybe if you put some air under it and tried to fit it to the outside, but that's probably not what that play was designed to do. Burleson looked back for it, had no chance at completing that pass, and I think Stafford was just trying to ask his receiver for a little too much help on that one.
2nd and 10. Stafford sets up the screen. Has to throw it into the ground. Good recognition by the Bills defense to take that away.
Yeah, that was well defended. Blatnick and also Denoris Searcy was there as well. Watch as the defenders, they're going to see the quarterback drop back and sense the offensive lineman letting them go. Watch the release, and that's well defended. You see, as Jay Rosh moves down the line, the big defensive tackle gets out in the middle of that screen as well as the defensive lineman. That was a nice defensive play by the front of the Bills.
Brings up 3rd down and 10. Last 3rd down, the Bills came away with an interception. Opening drive, Stafford throws the comeback to the outside, bounces it off of Patrick Edwards' chest, incomplete.
Yeah, once again going after TJ Heath, and that was just a flat drop. It was a good route by Edwards. He got good separation. The ball could not have been thrown any better. And this ball, that's just a doink. That ball goes right off his pads. That should have been a completion. It turns into a 4th down.
And that will bring Sam Martin out to punt. And this one goes into the end zone. The Lions were around it but could not stop it. So the Bills will come back. They'll take the football for the 2nd time here tonight.
There is a flag
as well.
Back at the line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be against, well, I don't know. I quit guessing early in the preseason. I was not in mid-season form.
Bill Vinovich is our referee tonight, and he's getting a lot of help over there.
And Stephen Tulloch trying to get his 2 cents in for the Lions.
Well, it was a 4th and 10.
Offside. Receiving team number 35. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Yeah, well, there's no 35 on the roster.
Well, Zach Brown.
Oh, there you go. I got you. Yeah, there's offensive guys playing on that defensive position over there.
And it'd be good for Brown to show well on special teams.
Lining up in the neutral zone isn't the way to do that.
No.
So and that's a smart move by the Lions. Punt it again, because you'd think they're going to be able to get a better down. That was a pretty good punt. They just couldn't get down there fast enough to down it before it went into the end zone. This is a good penalty acceptance by the Lions.
Blake Klingon to kick it again, hangs this one high, and Mikel Roby fakes the fair catch, and as you predicted, Steve, they do end up in a much better situation. The Lions down the ball at the 3, a 43-yard punt, all of it net. And so now the Bills, when they come back, they'll be backed up. We'll be back after this network timeout. No score here with 9:22 left in the first quarter of the final preseason game. Bills have the ball now at their own 4-yard line is where they end up marking it. Matt Leinart come out. Steve, how tough is it for him in this situation?
Oh, are you kidding?
Just, what, 4 days of practice?
Trying to digest. Now, he's a veteran, no question, so he knows concepts of the passing game, but the verbiage and the terminology are completely different. The guys in the huddle are completely different. He's been a Buffalo Bill less than a week, and he's backed up in his own goal line.
And what do? Hand that thing off. And Shard Choice gives him a little bit of breathing room out to the 8-yard line, picks up 4, and you got a couple guys stuck together, it looks like. It happens.
The Lions are slowly getting a reputation for being a little chippy.
I don't know if that's slowly.
Yeah, that's and it started, Ndamukong Suh kind of sets the tone for that. He's got a reputation for that kind of thing, and now looks like the rest of the team is following suit.
2nd and 6. And they try Choice again off the left side, and nowhere to go as DeAndre Levy and Nick Fairley end up on the tackle.
As you would see, too, as we talk about Matt Leinart in this offense, you kind of have to anticipate a heavy emphasis on the run game. That takes the pressure off a quarterback, doesn't have to read the defense. It puts a lot of pressure on an offensive line that you're really trying to evaluate. Doesn't help the wide receivers very much, though, and those guys are still trying to get a spot as well.
3-step intercepted, and it will go the other way. Leinart just threw it directly into the hands of the Lions defender.
Yeah, and this is going to be a quick release. He lets it go, and it's going to come right to this spot. And we'll see from the outside. You see he was looking at the defender that I circled, thinking he was defending the pass, and the interceptor comes from the outside of his view.
A little robber technique there.
And that's just exactly what that defense is designed to do.
So Sean Hill now steps into quarterback position for the Lions as Matthew Stafford done for the night after hitting 1 of 6 passes for 12 yards and an interception. Don't know if they got the polish they wanted in that instance, but 1st and goal from the 8 for the Lions. Hill throws it outside to Edwards, and Edwards breaks the tackle of Heath and is into the end zone for the touchdown, an 8-yard score.
And that looked all too easy. Throw and catch, broken tackle, or missed tackle right into the end zone. You see there as Heath knows he's got to break down, he's got to make that tackle, or it's a touchdown, and he can't get it done. It's tough, no question. That's a lot of space for a guy like Edwards, that's his forte. Give him the ball in space, and he's tough to tackle. It's like a punt return. And that's a tough assignment, but it's one you have to be ready to make as a corner.
I got to think that Mike Pettin will be pressing receivers inside the 10-yard line come the regular season. That's so hard to cover a guy from off down in that short area of the field as Akers comes on to hit the extra point, and the Lions take the early lead here with 8:06 to go in the first quarter. It's Detroit 7, Buffalo 0. We'll be back. It'll be the Bills' ball after we come back from this local timeout. 7-0 Detroit here midway through the first quarter. The final week of preseason. Lions set to kick it off to the Bills.
And it's interesting, these special teams is always kind of the last thing you put together as a coaching staff. Doug Marrone told us he'd love to have 25 offensive players, 25 defensive players, and then a kicker, punter, and a long snapper. It doesn't always work that way because of injuries and guys you really don't want to lose, and you kind of go short at one position, heavy at another. Brad Smith, back to return kickoffs, might be one of those guys that's in that spot. Do you keep him? for all he can do, or do you have guys that can cover that with different positions groups?
Akers kicks it midway through the end zone, and Smith, after thinking about it, decides to keep it in there. A touchback, and the Bills offense will take the field again.
Matt Leinart coming back onto the field. One good thing about the Bills situation, and we anticipate Leinart playing the entire first half. We may get a chance to see Thad Lewis in the second half. They're not pulling, nobody's looking over Leinart's shoulder today. He gets a full half. It doesn't matter how much he struggles. They don't have anybody else they're going to go to. Matt Leinart has got this offense for this first half, and it's his to do with what he can.
Summers is in the backfield with Choice and runs to the flat on a little bootleg and catches the ball, gain of 4 before he's knocked down and out of bounds by Rocky McIntosh.
It's one of the things too, Matt Leinart nonchalantly rolling out to his left, the left-handed quarterback, a little bit different look for a defense. It's easier to throw for a lefty moving to your left. It's just a natural motion. He doesn't have to open his shoulders up to the line of scrimmage and gets an easy completion.
Pick up 3 on that last play, brings up 2nd and 7. Leinart under center. Hands it off. Choice finds a little room, picks up the first down out to the 30-yard line, gain of 7.
That's a nice run by Choice, picking his way up in there, well blocked up front. Legursky pulls around to the outside, gets the kick out block. Choice goes right up inside of it.
The fullback Frank Summers had a nice block as well.
Frank Summers, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do about a fullback, where they keep one, or if Summers is going to be that guy, or is it going to end up being someone from another team at this point.
Leinart overshoots Chris Hogan. Incomplete. Looked like he struggled on almost getting out of there. I don't think he got the snap cleanly,
yeah,
Steve, and that threw him off.
Yeah, he kind of wasn't confident in his grip until he actually got the ball up in his arm, above his head. And Hogan over there taking a deep breath, doing some physical evaluation of his own, making sure all the pieces are still there.
And they strung him out there. 2nd and 10. Choice, cutback. Picks up 5. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5.
It's a nice cut from Choice. He's going to come back and go back this direction as the offensive lineman try and get a seal down on the front of the line. Watch as it opens up on the backside, and boom, there it is. And there's one safety there. As you see, does a nice job. Don Carey comes up to make that tackle. That's what the defense is designed to do, and offensively, you hope your running back can make that guy miss.
Leinart from the gun. Drops it over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Brad Smith, but Don Carey was right there to break it up. Leinart a little disappointed.
And that was a good throw, good velocity. Brad Smith just couldn't pull it in. That was well defended. And I think that's the plan in the passing game. Get the ball out of Leinart's hands quickly. 3-step drop and throw it to a guy and try and drill it in before the defender can get their hand in.
Stephen Miller back to return the punt from Sean Powell. Miller takes it at his own 25 and is stopped after a 7-yard return as the Bills cover the kick well. A 42-yard punt, 7-yard return. Detroit with a 7-0 lead has the football. We'll be back after this local timeout.
Dresden Butler had this interception against the Colts in the first preseason game, and now with the injury to Stephon Gilmore, he's getting an opportunity to start tonight. He was with the Bills for 5 games last year. He was with the Steelers back when they went to the Super Bowl in 2010. Even though he didn't play, his teammates voted him funniest guy on the team, king of improv. There's nothing really funny about trying to make it as a corner in the NFL.
Thank you, Mike. 1st and 10. Sean Hill in at quarterback. Joyke Bell next to him. Little play action, throws the slant, incomplete. Tried to hit Michael Spurlock, and Spurlock wasn't able to bring it in. Bradham on the coverage for the Bills.
And that ball came out of there fast. trying to get the ball out of their hands, no question about it. Some of these teams, I think in the preseason, do some things they're not used to doing. I don't think they practice so much, and I think they show things on the field that the players really aren't comfortable doing.
Joique Bell to the edge. He gets tracked down. Doughton shoots a window and gets him from behind. No gain on the play.
Yeah, you can bet that they're going to have a bootleg called here pretty soon. Doughton gave no attention to the quarterback booting out to the backside. He ran that play down from the front, and he didn't even care what happened behind him. He's going to come right out here and go right down. And watch the quarterback right here come out from the backside. You can watch. They'll do this, and he'll keep that and go the other way. That time, Doughton didn't believe it, and it paid off.
Lions 0 for 2 on third downs. This one a 3rd and 10. And that one is caught and good for the first down. Shaun Hill hooks up with Joseph Fourier for a pickup of 16. Fourier stands 6'7", a big target for the Lions at tight end.
Searcy in coverage on him, and that's you throw that ball 8 or 9 feet in the air, and only Fourier is going to be able to jump up and get it. Searcy in the coverage was there, but that ball was thrown out of reach.
First and 10 from the 49-yard line are the Lions. They run it up on the left side. Joique Bell gets stopped immediately as Arthur Moats is in on that tackle.
That's a good job by the Bills defense stepping into the hole. You see there's Moats comes right up, pushes him to the outside. He's got some help there as well from Scott, who gets in on the tackle as well. That was a well-defended running play by the Bills. Sniffed it out. Moats spearheading it, forcing the back to bounce outside, and there was no room.
2nd and 10. Hill back to throw. Nowhere to go with it. He gets tracked down. The blitz comes from the Bills, and they get the sack. Coming off the edge, Kip Edwards, his 2nd sack of the preseason.
Wow, that was a great defensive call. You'll watch as the Buffalo Bills line up in a funky front. Watch as happen. These guys are all lined up like they're going to rush, but all these guys drop back into coverage, and they get the pressure from over here as they come off the corner, and it really confuses Hill. You see those guys jump back. He says, what is going on? And they catch him, and that was just confusion by the quarterback.
Makes it 3rd down and 18. Hill deep over the middle, looking for the post route, and that one is complete to Matt Willis. Split the safeties.
Cresden Butler got left on the outside as he broke it to the post, and Duke Williams couldn't get over to help. You'll see Butler, he's got outside deep contain. He's going to stay out there. He's got the sideline. The safety there you see is Duke Williams is just too late to get there. The quarterback held him off with his eyes and then threw it in there between the two defenders.
Gain of 40 on the play. 1st and 10 Lions from the Bills' 20-yard line. Mikel Leshoure checks in at tailback. And he'll take it on a lead play, gets through the line, spins, and gets inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line, an 11-yard run for Mikel Leshoure.
There was a good, well blocked up front, but there was also some guys who tried to get him with a hand tackle. You're not going to tackle an NFL running back with one hand. As Leshoure, you can just see, just moves up and just runs through those arm tackles, and he's good for a gain of 11. That's a good, tough run on a well-blocked play.
Arthur Moats swung and missed on that tackle. 1st and goal from the 9 for Detroit. There came the blitz, and boy, you want to time that one up a little better or you're going to pay for it, and that's exactly what Duke Williams found out.
Yeah, that was offensive lineman. That'll teach you a lesson.
Defense number 27. Half distance on goal. Still 1st down.
If you're going to go, I say just go. Because you try to stop, you're going to pay for it.
You got to stop in time, or you're going to pay the price. And that was a smart move by Jake Scott. I mean, Jake Scott's been around for a while, and when you get in the neutral zone, he stood up and gave him the two-hand shot to the chest, and he ended up looking up at the lights.
8th play of the drive here for the Lions. 1st and goal from the 4. And LaShore gets tracked down from behind as the Bills safety comes in and makes the play. Actually, linebacker Brian Scott, excuse me.
Yes, and Alan Branch also moved down from his defensive line, so I can watch Branch come down, but also the safety's going to come up, and they're going to get some help from the secondary as this play comes back on the cutback from the backside. Scott comes, knifes right in, and also on down at the bottom is big Alan Branch.
Yeah, Branch did a nice job of making the shore go sideways. So 2nd and goal from the 6. They throw the slant to the outside. That's a touchdown, and that's Chris Durham. And that looked a little easy, too easy.
Cresden Butler wasn't even close. And this is a great route at the top. You're not going to be able to see the route, but he just absolutely leaves Cresden Butler behind.
Butler just lost his inside position. You got to make him throw it outside when you're down in this area of the field.
And he might have been looking for help from inside from Duke Williams, but there's no way Williams was going to get there on that route. That was Butler's got to do a better job.
So Akers comes on and adds the extra point. And with 1 minute and 14 seconds left here in the 1st quarter, it's Detroit 14, Buffalo nothing. We will take a network break and bring more football back to you in a moment. 14-0 Lions over the Bills. Minute or so left here in the 1st quarter. Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker. Mike Catalana on the sidelines with us as we bring you the Bills' final preseason game.
Lions putting together 2 pretty good scoring drives, helped by a long pass play on that last drive.
A 40-yarder, the post.
That was a nice throw by Sean Hill, who's looked pretty sharp. Actually, he's looked sharper than Matt Stafford did.
Sharper than anybody else on the field right now. It's Akers has it teed up. Deep to return is Brad Smith. Smith takes this one 5 yards deep, and he'll take the meat. And the Bills will come out 1st and 10 once again from their own 20.
New York Lottery inside the numbers play take 5 from the New York Lottery today. Hey, you never know. Look, their current roster is 75. They released 5 players on Monday to get to that point. They've got to be down to 53 players by Saturday at 6 p.m. And this is the worst, the next few days are the worst few days in the National Football League every year.
I used to try to hide. Leinart on 1st down, goes for the deep ball, and that one is just dropped. What great explosion by Marquise Goodwin. He blew right past the corner. Looked like he slowed up a little bit, Steve.
And he's staying down. I think he misjudged the ball. He went to the outside, straight up the field. Watch right here. You see he's kind of leaned outside, and the ball is back inside. And then
kept running. He'd have had that in full stride.
And he's slow getting up. He stayed down, and that's the last thing the Bills need is one more guy to stay down on the field. They're planning on Marquise Goodwin to be a big part of what they do on week 1. You saw him fall and go down hard. Don't know what happened, but he is not getting up.
He just exploded.
And he had an extra gear. You're right. You see there, and you fall down. You don't know why, and it looks like he got his arm buckled under him.
Just ran by Rashean Mathis like he was standing still.
It looks, I hate to say, you never know. And I've seen it happen before.
Little shoulder on
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's what I was thinking. It looks like a shoulder thing, but who knows? I mean, you and I can't tell from sitting up here. Just experience tells you. I didn't like the way he fell, though. That's for sure.
I do like
nice throw by Leinart.
Right,
though.
that's what I was going to say. I do like Leinart's deep ball. He's thrown a couple of them right into the bucket, so to speak.
You know, one of the things, too, the medical staff went out on the field. John Marzo, the head of orthopedics for the Buffalo Bills, he didn't stay out there. He went out, checked things out, and if he walked off the field, it's probably not the shoulder. Doug Marrone talking there to Dr. Tom White. Bills internist. As everybody asks, and we've said this throughout the broadcast, and is Doug Marrone the guy? And I'll tell you what, every step of the way, when I've talked with him and had production meetings with him and had sit-downs with him about the game, about what's going to happen in these next games, in these preseason games, and the roster and the program they're trying to instill, I have been nothing but impressed with the handle he has on every aspect of his players. It's been really impressive to sit down and talk with him, and there's no question that when the Bills hired him from Syracuse, they got a good guy, and I know Syracuse was sick to lose him.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. Let's go down to the field right now. Mike Catalana with more on the Goodwin injury.
Yeah, he looks like he got, certainly got shaken up there a little bit. The good news is it appears that he's walking off right next to us here. Seems a little groggy. He's holding the side of his face a little bit, but I think he's going to be okay. The Bills certainly don't need anybody else to go down, and Marquise Goodwin has had a really good camp. They're very excited about his prospects, so we'll get an update later, but it looks like he's okay.
Looks like it's okay because it's not you.
Yeah. Goodwin, third-round draft pick. Seemed to be all right. 2nd and 10. Leinart on a bootleg. He's going to dump it. Nice play there. Lee Smith makes the catch, but Matt Leinart shows you a little veteran savvy.
That was a poised move, and I'll tell you what, I was also impressed with Lee Smith jumping up. Now he's 6'6", 265, but watch, Leinart kind of stumbled coming out. He threatens to run and then backs off and just lobs it over, and Lee Smith reaches up and one-hands it. Nice little improvisational play for a 7-yard gain.
Brings up a 3rd down and call it a short 4. Bills 0 for 3 on 3rd down attempts. Blitz comes and Leinart gets sacked. That's Young coming around the edge.
And Thomas Welch getting the start at left tackle. One of the things that early in the season I spoke to Doug Marrone about Welch, and he was really worried not so much about getting off the edge, getting beat off the edge like this. He wanted to know if Welch could anchor against a big bull rush. That was one of the things they were looking at in camp, to see if Welch could do that. Here at left tackle, you're more faced with guys like that who are going to really blaze in off the edge. You got to get back and keep your feet moving to get in front of that edge rusher.
So that ends the first quarter as the Bills let that clock run out, and been pretty much all Lions. 14-0, the Lions over the Bills here on the final preseason ball game of the year. Bills trying to get ready to go. We'll get ready to go to a local break and come back with the second quarter right after this. 14-0 Lions lead the Bills here as we start the second quarter. Buffalo facing a 4th down and 10 from their own 20. And they will punt this away. Sean Powell out to do the kicking. Stephen Miller back at his own 35 to receive. Miller makes the fair catch right there at the 36-yard line. A 44-yard punt, no return. And Steve, we have a battle going on for the cornerback position here.
Yeah,
handicap this.
Now the guys on the top there are guys who are in. I mean, they're going to be there. Those are the starters. Stephon Gilmore's, even though he can't play with his injury, is going to be a roster spot. 4 or 5, probably 5, 2 from this side, and at least 2, maybe 3 from this side are going to get on the roster. How they play tonight is going to have a lot to say about what those 5 guys are going to do. And it'll be interesting to see how they play tonight and what the coaches see once they break this film down.
New quarterback in the ballgame for Detroit, Kellen Moore, hands this one off to Mikel Shore. He makes 1 yard before Arthur Moats gets him down. And tell you what, Sean Hill, he doesn't need a whole lot of polish. 4 of 5 for 69 yards and a pair of touchdowns in his short time out there for the Lions so far.
Yeah, he played tonight. He was really crisp. And I think that's probably, I don't know if it's a result of the gut that he's played with a lot of those guys offensively. Those are guys he takes reps with in practice or what, but he looked really good.
Moore dumps it outside. Complete to LaShore, but he gets brought down in the open field after a gain of 4 yards. A pretty nice tackle there by Keith Pugh.
A nice open field tackle by Pugh on the running back. It does a swing pass, and Moore had to get rid of it. The pocket was collapsing around him. He's going to look down the field first and then late come out. And Pugh is right where he was supposed to be. Great good pull down tackle on the sideline.
Brings up a 3rd down and 5. Lions 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversions thus far. Kellen Moore zips it outside, but the hit is there immediately for a stop short of the 1st down marker. Denoris Searcy makes the tackle on Mikel LeShore, a gain of 3, and the Lions will bring the punting unit out.
Yeah, the Lions immediately run the punter unit out. It'll be 4th and 2 inside their own territory. No question about it, as the Bills send their punt team on. Great defensive play, and that's the best defensive series the Bills have put together tonight.
Other than the first one. That one was 2 plays and an interception.
Okay.
All right. Pretty good, though, both of them. Klingham punts this one deep. Roby tries to get away, but isn't able to, and he gets down there at the 14-yard line. Flag is down on the play.
And this is going to be a face mask on the Lions. If I read my...
Yep, Doug Marrone just
signals.
confirmed it for you.
Personal foul. Face mask. Receiving team number 56. After this is the goal. Buffalo
Receiving
keeps the
team
ball.
number 50?
First down.
56, Courtney Brown.
6, I got you.
It's actually on 46, I'm told, and that would be Jordan Dangerfield. 14-0 Detroit over Buffalo. 12:52 to go in the second. We'll take a network break. 14-0 Lions over the Bills, and I don't think it's surprising, Steve, but the Bills offense has struggled mightily here. 14 plays, a total of 22 yards thus far in the ball game offensively.
Yeah, and you knew it would be a struggle with Matt Leinart at quarterback, who only was signed Sunday this past week, and now, if I remind you, it's Thursday, and that's tough. That's a tough row to hoe.
Nice little cut back there by Zach Brown, and he'll get it out to the 9-yard line. Gain of 3 on 1st down. Bring up a 2nd down and 7.
Once again, these guys up front with Matt Leinart, they know the plays in the offense better than their quarterback does, and it's usually just the reverse. The quarterback knows what all 11 guys are doing, and I'll tell you, one other thing Matt Leinart may struggle with.
Throws it outside
That
to
right there.
Easley, and it's broken up.
That's a perfect example, because Matt Leinart has to, when he drops back as a quarterback about 3 days in the offense, he has to wait and see what the receiver's going to do.
Yeah, no real
E.J.
timing.
Manuel, Kevin Cobb, and Jeff Toole, that ball would be out of their hand. They don't have to, they know what Marcus Easley's going to do right here. Matt Leinart does not, and it's totally going by feel, but he has to react and try and gun the ball in. He doesn't know what the receiver exactly is going to do, so he has to hold the ball.
3rd and 8. Leinart with time. Lost one up, and it's intercepted. Rashean Mathis takes it at his own 25, and he's looking to get to the end zone. He stopped, stumbles, and is down at the 10. A flag comes in late as Antoine Caldwell makes the tackle. 2nd interception thus far by Matt Leinart. He's 3 of 10 for 11 yards and a pair of picks.
After the interception, during the return, illegal blocking the back, intercepting team number 77. 10-yard penalty, Detroit keeps the ball, 1st down.
Israel Adonijah.
Yeah, he got a
excuse
little,
me.
I'm sorry, he got a little bit greedy. He's going to try and hit the deep corner route instead of trying to gun the ball down inside. He tries to put it out on the outside to Easley, and you see Rashean Mathis just sloughs off. Nobody's threatening him underneath, so he can drop back underneath easily to get that ball. Leinart got a little bit greedy, wanting to get that 1st down instead of trying to hit the short pass and let a guy break a tackle to get the 1st down. He wanted to throw it, and it worked out to an interception.
He had Zach Brown in the flat where Mathis had dropped back off of, and here comes a big run coming out the other way. Joyce Bell into the end zone. Touchdown Detroit, no flags. 23 yards on the carry.
And Joyce Bell, who was with the Buffalo Bills for a little while of his career, breaking to the outside. And this play is one of the cutback. We saw it earlier where the running back comes back, the offensive line gets angles and pushes the defenders to the far side. They get a kick out block on Pugh, And Joique Bell goes out and nobody's home. The safety had started to run to the far side of the formation, thinking it was a sweep the other way, and the cutback got him.
So Akers will come on and attempt his third extra point of the evening. As the Lions have scored touchdowns in their last 3 possessions. That one is good, and with 12:01 to go here in the first half, it's Detroit 21, Buffalo nothing. We'll take a local break, come back, see if the Bills offense can get on track. Young Bills fan trying to get things going here. It's the Lions 21, Bills nothing here in the second quarter. 12:01 left to play here in the first half.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse here in the last 3 series. As you mentioned, 3 scoring drives for the Lions. A couple of big plays involved as well. That last one by Joique Bell, a nice run off the right side of the offensive line. And the Bills, and you knew it was going to be a struggle offensively with Matt Leinart. He's here 4 days, and he's really only able to take snaps.
You know, Steve, the Bills have been huddling all night. They're not even running their offense. They're not capable of doing that because of the quarterback situation, and so it's kind of to be expected a little bit. Kickoff to Brad Smith. Smith brings this one out of the end zone. Stutter steps short of the 20 and works his way up to the 25-yard line. A 28-yard return on the play, and the Bills offense will come out to the field. Well, I tell you, not to miss the excitement at Ralph Wilson Stadium on Sunday, September 15th, when the Bills host Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. In addition to the action on the field, there'll be a tribute to the Bills Wall of Fame members. Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bill Polian, Mike Stratton, Phil Hansen, many more will be on hand. That's Sunday, September 15th, right here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. To purchase tickets, log on to BuffaloBills.com. And Thaddeus Lewis steps in at quarterback. And he'll hand this one off to Zach Brown. Brown along the right side picks up a couple. Are you surprised they went to Lewis this quickly?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I didn't know what they expected from Matt Leinart, much more than they got. He did get a little greedy on that last interception, no question about it. But this is it's tough to run an NFL offense when you practice it every day for 6 months, let alone 4 days. And so I'm a little surprised they went to Thad Lewis this quickly, but we'll see.
2nd and 9. Lewis hands the ball off on the zone read. Zach Brown gets up to the 30-yard line, pickup of 3, bringing up a 3rd down and 5 now. And let's go down to Mike Catalana for more on Thad Lewis.
Yeah, Thad Lewis getting an opportunity here. He's bounced around with a few teams. As we said, the Bills just picked him up from the Lions. He was with the Browns 2012, did get an opportunity late in that year to start a game, so he has a limited amount of experience. They do like his athletic ability. He's a Duke guy. We know he can figure out this offense. He's going to have to do it pretty quickly if he wants to stick around.
Lewis breaks out of the pocket. There's that excitement you talked about, Mike, as he picks up a 1st down on a scramble of 7 yards.
And that's, you think in a situation like this, it's exactly what Thad Lewis is going to have to do. If he sees an open guy, get rid of it, and then if it's not there, tuck it and run and see if you can make something happen outside the pocket. On that play, got the 1st down, keeps the team on the field, and for the first time tonight, provides a spark.
1st and 10 Bills. This is their 2nd 1st down of the ball game. Lewis will play action. Throws it a little bit high to Chris Gregg, the tight end. He's not able to bring it in.
And that's, Chris Gregg is 6'3", 240 pounds, and
Don Carey paid for it.
Don Carey realized why they hit those guys a little lower than up top.
Well, while they look at Don Carey, we'll take this opportunity to take a timeout, a local break, as the Lions lead the Bills 21-0. 21-0 Lions over the Bills. Don Carey shaken up on that last play. He seems to be okay. Steve, what happened?
And you can see why this little pop pass, little fake pass, and then the tight end just pops up. You throw him the football, and he gets caught going up to make the tackle, and it looks like he got his head caught sideways right there into the hip of Gregg, and that's enough to send him off the field.
2nd and 10. Thad Lewis in the shotgun. Dumps a screen pass, and that one is dropped by Zach Brown. Looked like he had a little bit of room.
He was being chased by John Morgan. Brown looked like he was going to be able to pick that up off his hip. That throw was down on his hip, pick it up, turn up the sideline and get some yardage, and just couldn't pull it in. It looked like it almost got in on him before he was ready for it, which new quarterback that you don't know, that's a distinct possibility.
3rd down and 10 now. Bills just 1 of 6 in 3rd down conversions. Lewis runs out of time. And he is sacked. And that'll bring out the punt team once again.
Yeah, that came off the right side, I believe. Right up top.
Sanders got beat.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, Sanders just did a little pirouette right here. It's going to happen coming up the edge on the outside. Sanders going to try and get out. That's a great dip move by Corey Hilliard coming off the end. And got in on Lewis.
Line drive punt. Good coverage by the Bills special teams. Nowhere to go. 45-yard kick, a -1 yard return. And the Lions will come out. Possession of the ball. Kellen Moore, their 3rd string quarterback, returns to the ball game. Let's go down to the sidelines and Mike Catalana. Mike?
Guys, obviously the Bills struggle on offense, but in large part because they've got 2 quarterbacks who just got here. But we know, and Steve knows this better than anybody, the way some of these guys are going to make this team is on special teams. They will get opportunities like covering those punts. That's going to be the difference between being here next week and not. And some of these guys still have plenty of opportunity to do that.
Jonathan Meeks just made a nice play on special teams.
There was a fumble and the
comes
Bills
out late.
Yeah.
And Buffalo recovers it.
And that's the kind of play you need to make when you're trying to make a roster. Somebody got the ball and punched it out. Eyes on Cross comes up with it. And it came out in the pile, and nobody at all beefed the call. It was hard to see the fumble from up here, and we'll see if it's easy to see. The officials seem to be right on. Of course, the players all saw it immediately. And that's LeSure coming in.
Sure, it looked like Bradham. I thought it was 53 that made the tackle and forced the fumble. Little handoff. Brown stops. Tries to restart. Not able to get anywhere.
Yeah, that's never really a good idea to stop and go back the way you came, particularly in a run play from scrimmage.
Not in this league.
Not in this league. Because when you stop, even the goalposts are moving as fast as you are.
No gain on that play. 2nd and 10. Lewis. Oops. I think he lost his grip on the ball on the fake.
He wanted to get rid of that one.
Tried to get it to Brad Smith.
Yeah, he had Devin Taylor coming in on him, and he had to get rid of it quick, no question. But he just couldn't get the grip. Shotgun snap, you always have to kind of juggle the ball in your hands before you can get a good grip. And on that play, he had to get it so fast. He didn't have a grip when he let it go, and that was a pretty poor pass because of that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Zach Brown, who ran the fake in front of him, might have nicked the ball a little bit, and he lost his handle on it. 3rd and 10. Lewis goes under center. Dumps it over the middle. That one is complete down inside the 20-yard line to Zach Brown. A gain of 5 on the play. It'll bring up a 4th and 5, and see if the Bills want to get some points on the board, and they do opt to bring out Dustin Hopkins.
This will turn into a 37-yard field goal attempt. Unless they spot 38 yards. 8 yards deep on the short snap.
Hopkins hit 88 field goals in his college career, college football record. And he gets one right here, and the Bills are on the board. 8:01 to go here in the first half, and Buffalo gets their first points, and they trail Detroit 21-3. Don't miss the excitement at Ralph Wilson Stadium on Sunday, September 15th. That's when the Bills will host Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. And in addition to the action on the field, halftime will feature a tribute to the members of the prestigious Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame, including Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bill Polian, Mike Stratton, Phil Hansen, and many more. That's Sunday, September 15th at Ralph Wilson Stadium. To purchase tickets, just log on to BuffaloBills.com.
pretty impressive list of guys that's on there. I mean, the guys I played with who happen to be up there are some of the really great guys I've ever met. I mean, they're great football players, great guys, great men. Most of them are still with us. We lost our good friend, the center for that Super Bowl team, Kent Hull. He's sorely missed, but great bunch of guys.
So Hopkins set to kick it off. Stephen Miller deep for the Lions. Miller will take it from 6 yards deep. And he gets hammered at about the 18-yard line. Heath in there on that special teams play along with Justin. Sorry, not Justin Bannon. It's Heath making that tackle.
Heath, we see it sometimes in these games. Heath goes down, covers the kickoff, makes the tackle, gets up, and starts playing right cornerback for the Bills again. They got to do it all. It's going to be a long night for some of them.
Kellen Moore on a play action. Boots it outside, complete on the crossing route. Up to the 32-yard line. Meeks makes the tackle, complete to Durham.
It's nice ball handling in the backfield. Watch as Moore comes out. The defense just loses complete track of him. He's going to get and just come out this way, and the defense just can't get there. He gets rid of it quickly. Good throw on the run.
I think Kellen Moore is very underrated. Extremely good at the fundamentals, the ball handling, the things you mentioned, Steve. If he fills out a little bit, I think he's got a chance to be a bona fide NFL quarterback. Theo Riddick runs into trouble at the 36-yard line, a gain of 4 as Moats makes the play. And Arthur Moats, we've been calling his name a lot. Well, linebacker making a lot of plays.
You know, it's interesting because this game, it's played by a reduced roster. A lot of, as soon as those guys get a few reps, they come off, and then they want to find out if they can play special teams. They want to find out if they can play defense, offense. They want to find out if they can play different special teams. These guys are going to play all night tonight, and they got to go every down, and it's going to be a real test of their conditioning as this game wears on.
Another bootleg by Moore. He completes this one for a first down to his fullback, Sean Chappis.
There's a late flag as Moats knows it. He got up looking at the official, and the official obliged him and threw the flag.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defensive, number 49. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
Well, it wasn't 49, it was Arthur Moats, 52. They singled out Keith Pugh, but it's going to be Arthur Moats right here.
Classic horse collar there, although it didn't look like he actually got a hold of it. That's a tough one there.
Well, there on the back with his left hand, maybe that's what the official called. And he knew it. He got up looking, and the official said, yeah, you got him.
Lions punch it into Bills territory at the 42. Handoff to Riddick. He makes a man miss, gets to the outside, and he is brought down after a really nice move originally to break free.
Yeah. Duke Williams comes up and makes the tackle from his safety spot, but man, oh man, what a nice move Riddick puts on. He's going to come in and then do the spinorama and bounce it to the outside. Watch this, as this is what happens. Arthur Moats gets caught looking.
Kind of got cut off by his own man a little bit. I'm going to give Moats a pass on that one. 1st and 10, Kellen Moore, 4 for 4 thus far on the night. Shoots this one up to Matt Willis, and that one is caught.
Touchdown.
And that is a touchdown for Detroit, a 28-yard strike from Kellen Moore.
And that was a nice throw by Moore, fitting it in right at the pylon. And I'll tell you what, Willis did a nice job because the Bills secondary was there. Watch how he fits this in, left-handed, coming in right at the pylon with guys bearing down on him. That's Meeks coming over from the safety, and he gets just by Heath. And I'll tell you, that's tough for a receiver. He knows he's going to get whacked, and he's got to get both sides, and that actually is probably not a catch.
No, I don't
in the
believe
old
it is.
days, it would have been because he got pushed out, but there's no such rule anymore. If you can push the guy out without his feet coming down, it is not a catch, and this is going to come back. Good throw, good catch, doesn't count.
So they'll review that play. We'll take a network timeout and have that result when we return. Find out what the call is here as Kellen Moore hit Matt Willett for what appeared to be a touchdown, and Mr. Vinovich, the official, just kind of gave us a
I would
little
say,
heads
I
up
would go
there.
on a limb and say it's going to be incomplete, but I've done that before all preseason, and even in this situation, I could still be wrong.
I'm going to go out on that limb. I think this one's coming back.
I think it is too.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The receiver only got 1 foot down inbound. It's an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10, the 28 on the left hash.
So there's a break for Buffalo. Kellen Moore will go back to the 29 where they had the football. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Lions.
And you're going to bet that Kellen Moore is going to ask his offensive coordinator to let him keep throwing to the outside. The Lions really going after both corners on this Bills defense tonight.
Moore zips it on an inside route. Heath makes the tackle. Patrick Edwards makes the catch. Gain of 11. Flag comes down. Looked like face mask. Kellen Moore still perfect on the night. Actually, I take that back. The one that got overturned was his first incompletion, so now he's 5 of 6.
And that was probably his best throw.
Personal foul, face defense number 27. That's it to the goal.
Duke Williams called for the face mask.
And I'll tell you what, as you look at the face of Doug Marrone, this is...
That's not what he wanted.
Oh, yeah, it's...
I didn't see a face
There's
mask.
no face mask there. That's not a... Well...
Looked like he had the shoulder, though, from the other look.
Yeah, and they called it on Williams, who was the 2nd guy in. I don't know.
Well, it's still preseason. Let's put it down at that. A couple weeks we'll be pretty upset about those things. 1st and goal from the 8. Moore fires it to Riddick, and Riddick beats Duke Williams for the touchdown. An 8-yard throw, a hookup, and Detroit gets it this time to extend the lead to 27-3. Extra point pending.
And you can bet right in the face of the rush, that's Courtney Brown coming in, getting his hands up, and Moore just calm, cool, and collected, delivers the ball right on target. And Riddick just steps right into the end zone. The Lions making it look easy.
Akers on. Makes the extra point, and with 5:13 to go here in the first half, the Lions now lead Buffalo 28-3.
Yeah, and the Bills have got to get a spark offensively going. I mean, and Thad Lewis it's gonna be left up to him to try and do that. And I think what you do in this situation, particularly for these guys who are, out there struggling to, to make the team, wanting to make the best impression, you got to start small. Just put a few plays together, try and get a first down, try and get some positive yards, and try and do the right thing every play. And hope that your coaches can maybe dip into their playbook and give you a play that is going to fit that defense that they're facing. You don't want your coaching staff to keep you vanilla when you're, when you're down 28-3. Even if it is a preseason game, the coaching staff doesn't want to show anything, but the players are, you can bet, would love to have just a few tricks up their sleeve to unfurl on this defense to give them a spark.
7 plays, 81 yards. Ate up 2 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock, and the Lions offense continues to produce. Akers, who switches shoes between his extra points and his kickoffs. He's got the right footwear on. Brad Smith deep to return this kick. Smith returning kicks tonight. We've seen Marquise Goodwin do so up until this point. He got poked in the eye is what we found out in that injury that he had earlier, and he will not return as Smith takes this one from 3 yards deep. And gets knocked down at the 19. 22-yard return for Smith. Time now for our Snapple Real Fact.
As you see, the Buffalo Bills have 6 players from Florida State, which is the most from any college. You can go down the list and name them, of course, and starting with E.J. Manuel, their first-round draft pick, plus your punter, kicker, your long snapper, which is kind of unusual, have those guys from the same school. That's kind of a cool thing.
Good football program down there with the Seminoles. Lewis, a little play action, and he hooks up with Kaufman. Nice gain on first down of 6. That might be the best gain on first down all day yet for the Bills.
It's a nice catch by Kaufman. Kaufman, one of those guys, I mean, he's all of 6'5", and you see how big he is. And he's a load as a wide receiver, but he's one of those guys that's rangy. He's got good long speed, but I don't know how explosive he is.
Kendall Gaskins in the ball game, gets close to the first down. We'll send it down to the field, and Mike Catalana for more on Brandon Kaufman.
Yeah, he's a guy to keep an eye on because he put up some monumental numbers in the Subdivision I championship team that he played on at Eastern Washington. He's a guy who was a basketball player when he was younger. The interesting thing is, hasn't played special teams at all up to this point. He's going to try to make this roster strictly as a wide receiver. Had a couple pretty good games and a nice catch there.
3rd down and 1. And nowhere for Gaskins to go. He gets hit in the backfield and fights his way close to the line of scrimmage. I think he lost one.
He sure did. The Bills' offensive line let some penetration get through, and Gaskins had to bounce that out, and then the pursuit was just there. He had nowhere to run. Those guys on the defensive line of the Lions got some good penetration and blew that play up right where the Bills wanted to run it and stuffed them for a loss.
Boy, if Thad Lewis had kept that one, little bootleg, he might still be running. Sean Powell on to punt. Stephen Miller back to return. 6th punt of the night for Buffalo. This one a high booming kick. Sends Miller back inside his 20, and he's stopped immediately. Nice coverage for the Bills special teams. Marcus Easley down there making a play. A 51-yard kick, -1 on the return, 52-yard net for Powell.
Yeah, and this is, here are the 4 defensive linemen for the Buffalo Bills who are, going to make this squad. Then you've got these guys, Branch, Ross, Gilbert, and Blatnick started the game tonight. And it'll be interesting to see which of those 4 guys, and I think they'll probably keep 8 defensive linemen on the roster. They'll try to. They may go light and go 7, but they need fresh D linemen to keep that pass rush up for this defense.
Kellen Moore still in the ball game for Detroit. Flips it outside. Incomplete. Good coverage over there by Heath as he blankets Patrick Edwards.
Yeah, you got to think that the one thing you got to remember is TJ Heath has been picked on a lot tonight, as has been Cresden Butler. I mean, they're going after these guys on the outside, but as a corner, you can't let it get to you. They're going to keep throwing at you. You got to pick yourself up and try and play better and try and get the best of the guy. I mean, it's a one-on-one battle, but it's a bunch of little battles. You can win some even if you lose some as well.
2nd down and 10. Slant on the inside. They go right back to work over there on Heath, and Edwards wins the battle this time. Gain of 13 on the play.
And Heath lost his footing and actually was on the ground when Edwards came out of that break. You'll watch here, you can't see it, but Heath will be picking himself up off the ground. That's why the separation happened, as Edwards gave him a move and Heath got tangled up, lost his footing, and there was huge separation. That's an easy slant throw for Moore.
1st and 10 Lions from their own 30-yard line. Moore goes back to that slant. Ball gets popped up in the air. Almost intercepted. Bradham had a chance at it. Excuse me, that's not Bradham, it was Westerman, as Durham can't quite make the grab.
Yeah, Westerman coming across, almost did get that ball batted. It was well timed by the Bills defense. Catch hit by Moats, and Westerman just can't pull it in. You see Moats sees it coming, Ball gets up in the air, and Westerman just can't get there in time. Good play by Moats coming across, reading the quarterback's eyes and getting in the way of the throw and the catch.
Moats is a bright spot. 5 tackles already tonight. Broke up the pass. That one incomplete. Spurlock couldn't hang on to the inside route.
Brings up a 3rd and 10. But, you know, you look at this. Once again, I got to say, Kellen Moore has been really accurate with his throws. Spurlock should have had that ball. No question about it. But Kellen Moore continues, and I think one of the reasons you can say that he's having a good night, he has had no pressure thus far in this game. The Bills have not gotten to any of the quarterbacks for the Lions yet tonight.
Just the 1 sack by Kip Edwards. Other than that, it's been free reign back there. Here they drop it off to Mikel LeSure. LeSure finds a little bit of room, but he's going to be short of the yardage to make the first down. Gain of 9 as Jay Ross makes that tackle. Coming down to the 2-minute warning here as the Lions bring the punt team out, and I don't believe we'll get it off. And that is the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. The Lions lead the Bills 28-3. We'll take a network timeout and come back with the final 2 minutes of the first. 28-3, Lions over the Bills. 4th and 2 here as Detroit will have to kick this away. 2 minutes left in the first half.
Go Buffalo!
4th punt of the night for Blake Klingon. Nikhil Roby back to return. High kick, booming. Roby takes it at his own 15-yard line and muffs the ball. Is on the turf, and there's a big pile for it. They're still fighting. It looks like the Lions have it. And they do. Michael Spurlock makes the recovery after a 42-yard kick, and the muffed attempt at making the catch by Roby.
Yeah, it goes right between his legs. He misses it right there, and then the strongest cat and the guy with the most leverage and the most buddies down there gets it. And it's usually always the case that the coverage team gets it because they got guys that are attacking the ball, and all the receiving team guys have their back to the football except for the return man. So there's just more guys there ready to get it. I'll tell you, that's the loneliest job in the world, returning punts in the NFL.
Yeah, you got to have a little something wrong with you, I think, to want to get back there.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
You went and did that, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was zero fun.
So 1st and 10 for Kellen Moore and company. They hand it off to Riddick. He hits the left side, runs into Bradham and company, where he'll get stopped. Gilbert in on that pile as well.
Not much going right for the Bills at this point. You got muffed 2 interceptions, a muffed punt for a turnover, 3 turnovers in the first half, and leading to points.
Second and goal from the 6. Moore hands it off to Riddick again, and Riddick gets a yard, maybe 2 on the play. Once again, Moats down there at the bottom of that pile, unofficially his 7th tackle here in the first half.
Yeah, Moats is a guy who has played well for this team, and there's no question they want to see him handle the entire game, and he's down inside. And you're right, he's been everywhere. He's done some good things out there. It's been a bright spot for the Bills defense, a defense that has played most of this first half.
3rd and goal. Moore comes back the other way, touchdown. He finds Riddick again, and another touchdown as they beat Jordan Dangerfield.
And one of the things about it that we've seen in the preseason was the Bills' ability to get pressure on the opposing quarterback. They have not done that tonight. They do have the 1 sack on a nice play, but for the most part, whichever quarterback has been in there for the Lions, they've been able to stand in there and look around and find their guy, and they've had some receivers running open.
10 drives, 5 touchdowns for the Lions here in the first half. Akers adds another extra point. And it is now 35-3, Detroit over Buffalo with 32 seconds to play here in the first half. And time now for our Geico Spotlight. And we'll send it down to the field and Mike Catalano.
Fellas, our spotlight tonight is on a linebacker the Bills fans know, Arthur Moats, number 52, and we'll watch him tonight. He explodes to the football. That is what Moats has done in his time in Buffalo. He's known for being the guy who ended the streak of Brett Favre. He wants to be known for a lot more than that, and he's fighting tonight, both on special teams and on defense. Our Geico Spotlight tonight, linebacker number 52, Arthur Moats.
Thank you, Mike. Moats playing extremely well.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of energy. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Not getting much help. I mean, there's no question the guys in the secondary are struggling to cover guys up. They've left him on some islands, and they've also dropped off into a little bit of zone coverage too. Nothing seems to have helped, and it doesn't hurt either that Kellen Moore of the Lions and before him Matt Stafford and Sean Hill, really accurate throws from those guys, making some good throws. We even had a lot of drops from the Detroit receivers on some good throws. So the offense of the Detroit Lions has looked really sharp here tonight. I think Jim Schwartz is really going to like how this game's turning out for him, and obviously he would. 35-3 at halftime. They're ready to probably go home right now with the win.
Akers kicks it deep. Brad Smith 4 yards deep in the end zone. And Smith runs into a wall at about the 16-yard line as the Lions special teams get it done. Amari Spivey leads the charge with the tackle.
Brad Smith slow getting up. That was a big collision. Looks like he's going to pick himself up and make his way off, though. I'll tell you, that is, yeah, it's as painful as it looks. I mean, you come in here running at full speed, and the other guys are running full speed too, and there's a lot of bodies meeting at the spot where you're standing.
So with 26 seconds left, Thaddeus Lewis hands this one off. A little zone replay. Gaskins gets a yard before he runs into trouble, and that more than likely is the final play here of what was a dismal first half for the Buffalo Bills.
Mercifully for the Bills, but there's no question. Offensively, they knew it was going to be a long night. Defensively, and I think they've been up against it because the offense has struggled so much, and the Lions have played extremely well. I think they've exposed a secondary that has really lacked some depth. I mean, that's what the Bills are looking for.
Let's go down now to Mike Catalana. He is with Coach Doug Marrone.
Coach, obviously a rough first half. What did you see out there?
Well, you know, we're evaluating some of these guys out here to make this football team, and again, you know, what you have is 21 points off of turnovers. Penalty leads to another touchdown. We have two quarterbacks that have been in here for about 2 days, but again, we should be playing much better than this, and that's a concern.
You mentioned the quarterbacks. You took Matt Leinart out, put Thad Lewis in. Is it going to stay that way, or does Leinart get another opportunity in the second half?
Well, it could stay that way for right now. So again, we'll talk about it when we go in there at halftime.
This is a chance for guys to make this roster. You know what it was like when you were a player. What do guys have to know in this second half, their last chance to make this team?
Yeah, they got to seize the moment. I mean, they got to go after it. I mean, right now it's out there. They have an opportunity to make this team. That's why they're out there right now. And right now we don't see a lot right now.
All right, thanks very much, Coach. Coach Doug Marrone, obviously not pleased with what he saw in that first half, guys.
Thank you, Mike. Coming up in our Northtown Automotive Group halftime show, we will have our feature Off the Field with Hannah Bueller as she talks about the kickoff dinner from last night. Also, Steve and I will be by with stats and highlights on the Northtown Automotive halftime coming up after this local break.
Jens presents Diamond in the Rough. In the second round of the 2013 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected linebacker Kiko Alonso. The Oregon product has made an immediate impact for the Bills' defense. His tenacious play and football aptitude quickly secured him a starting role for Mike Pettine's aggressive defense. His play through the preseason has turned heads around the NFL. Number 50, Kiko Alonso, tonight's Reed's Jens Diamond in the Rough.
He was the second pick of the second round by Buffalo this year, and we talked to Doug Marrone, and a lot of attention has gone to E.J. Manuel and the way he played in the first two preseason games. But Coach Marrone told us, if you throw out the quarterback spot and how much attention E.J.'s got, Kiko Alonso has played better than any rookie on our roster. Consistent, hard-nosed, good plays. makes few mistakes, and you think about it, they've really protected him too. They have not given him very many plays during this preseason. They want to make sure he's 100% when it rolls around.
It's about time the Bills have a decent number 50 back at linebacker. It's, my only comment. It's been a while.
History says they're due.
Yeah, right? Yeah, Lucius Sanford was pretty good wearing number 50 back when we played.
Wow, you're going back.
Actually, I grabbed that number from him back in 1986. So Easley back to return the Akers kickoff to start the second half. Short one. And that'll be brought down by the short man, Zach Brown. And Brown will get it up to the 30-yard line, a 15-yard return. And the Buffalo offense will go to work from the 30.
I thought Lucius Sanford wore 57.
He did, but he wore 50 prior to that.
What?
Yeah, well, he was injured when I came in, and they gave me his number, and I felt really bad about it. They didn't expect him to come back, so when he came back and got healthy, it's too late. I wasn't changing then, so he got 57.
And there's Chris Hogan down on the field, and they're touching his ankle there. There's Bud Carpenter on his knees doing the manipulating, and Hogan giving him. Yeah, you punch your face mask, it's never a good sign. That hurts.
That means you're in pain.
Yeah, exactly. Doug Marrone there as well. Again, John Marzo, the head of orthopedics for the Bills.
Chris
Let's see if we can get a look at it. He was right at the point of it. You see where he's on the turf. That's right where the play ended, right here. And that.
He got hit from the side on that ankle.
Yeah, just got nicked. That was Chris White, the former Buffalo Bill, who was just traded for Thad Lewis, who inadvertently rolled on from behind trying to make the tackle.
Hogan was making a strong bid to make this
I think
ball club.
it was I think he was going to make it. I mean, nobody asked me, and I don't have any inside knowledge, but I really liked the way he played during camp. He was consistent. He's big enough. Certainly, you see there laughing. Is he laughing right there? Yeah, okay, he's helping him up. He said, all right. I'm sure Bud Carpenter had a nice quip.
He's got a good bedside manner, does Bud Carpenter. So Hogan, one-year man out of Monmouth, picked up as a free agent in the offseason.
As Thad Lewis steps into the huddle, those wide receivers, all those guys are trying to squeeze into a tight fit. We'll show you the wide receiver situation after this play.
Lewis hands it off to Zach Brown, and nowhere to go. He's stopped for no gain.
Here's the receiver battle. You see the four guys at the top. These guys are going to be there. Brad Smith, Marcus Easley, Chris Hogan, and Brandon Kaufman. I think at most two of those guys are going to make the active roster. And Brad Smith and I think Marcus Easley do not have practice squad eligibility. So Kaufman and Hogan could be kept around as a practice squad, but you may lose them. You run the risk of losing them if that happens.
Bootleg, Lewis on the edge, fakes the throw, slides a yard shy of the first down. And that's where they mark it.
Yeah, and that's the reason when the quarterback goes feet first, he gets it where he starts to slide, where he's down when he slides. Nobody has to touch him when he gives himself up like that. That's why they marked him short of the first down, even though he slid well beyond. Brings up a 3rd and 1, and the Bills 1 of 9 on the night for 3rd down. This is one you really, really need to pick up.
Lewis comes out of the shotgun. Zach Brown next to him, and this time Lewis does keep it, and took my advice from the previous 3rd down that they didn't get. Picks up 5, brought down by Spivey, but the chains move. And real quickly, let's go down to Mike Catalana for an injury update. Mike?
Guys, you mentioned Brad Smith. He has gone to the locker room to get the ribs checked, and you already mentioned Marquise Goodwin out. So for the rest of this game, more opportunities for some of these other wide receivers also fighting for jobs.
Thank you, Mike. 1st and 10. Brown finds a little bit of room, giving 3 yards off the left side.
Right now you've got Marcus Easley and Kaufman on the field for the Bills. Brandon Kaufman, once again from Eastern Washington. He's one of the subdivision guys who has played really well. He's a big, tall, physical receiver. And, of course, Marcus Easley, who's very talented but has just been riddled with injuries in his short career.
Kaufman caught 221 balls in his college career. As Brown gets a first down. Best run of the day by a Bills running back. Give him 7 off the left side. First down Buffalo as they move it into Lions territory.
This is just a nice run. Regular personnel got a fullback right in front of Brown, and you just follow him wherever he goes. If he blocks the guy, you go the other way. Brown bounces it outside, cuts it back up for a nice run. That's a nice old-fashioned lead run play. Another one.
They liked it so much they went right back to it, and Brown, one step away from busting out the other end. A nice tackle by Travis Lewis, or that one was going to pop.
Now he's running behind Drew Smith, number 40, right there in front. You can't see him, but he's right between Lewis and Brown. You see 40 goes out, tries to weave in there, gets a piece of the guy. That's the hardest thing for a fullback sometimes, is sorting out which defender you're supposed to block and hoping you can get a hat on him, because as you see, the hole closes down and you can't get to him to block him.
8 carries, 27 yards for Zach Brown. As Gaskins comes in and he gets the first down with an extra push, and they're running right behind Doug Legursky right now and having a lot of success there on the left side.
Yeah, and you watch also they got a little help as well. Right here, watch. They're going to come around and help here too. Watch the offensive lineman pull around this and get over there and try and get a hat on him. And you see it open up. He's really patient there, Brown was. It took a little bit for that play to develop, but it sure did. It was a nice game.
Antoine Caldwell pulled around and got that block. Lewis dumps it out to the flat. That one's complete to his fullback, Drew Smith. Smith makes a man miss, gets it up to the 20-yard line before he steps out of bounds.
Yeah, Smith, 6'2", 225. He's a rookie out of Albany, right here in New York State. And pokes himself out, kind of gives a wing block to the defender, and then moves out into the flat and kind of gets forgot about and turns it up the field.
Actually made it down inside the 19 to the 18-yard line, where the Bills have it first down and 10. And Thad Lewis engineering a pretty nice drive here, but boy, Drew Smith that time got stood up in the hole and there was nowhere for Brown to go.
You wonder why they run plays the way they do, Ray. Well, sometimes you run the left and it's going good, going good. The reason you don't run it to the right is because they defend it really. Watch these guys step up and defend this play right at the point of attack. And there's just nowhere to run. Great job on the left side of the defense, the right side of the offensive line. And they'll go back the other direction now.
Yeah, get over that left side where things are happening, and Brown gets through the line of scrimmage down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes and it is a complicated game, no question, but sometimes it comes down to, you know what? They're stopping us on our right side. Let's just run left all the time. And they're making some hay doing it, and they're running the exact same play. You know, Doug Marrone and this coaching staff, they don't have a long menu of plays for these quarterbacks. They just got a few of them, and they got to go through it. And sometimes you get one that works, run it until they stop it.
3rd and 5 as flags come out.
Offense number 59.
Doug
5-yard penalty.
Legursky, his ears must have been ringing.
You know, for all the things that have gone wrong tonight, I'm kind of surprised at the new quarterbacks that this hasn't happened before. You know, you get a new quarterback, his voice is different, calls the cadence different, and, you know, just you'd think it would happen a lot more tonight than it has, but that's the first time I can remember here in the second half that they actually had a problem with the snap count. Of all the things that have gone wrong,
right,
that's one of the things that was going right up until that moment.
So with the 5-yard penalty, it backs the Bills up and brings up a 3rd down and 10 now. Lewis nicely handles the shotgun snap, but never got his hands really on the ball. Overshoots Marcus easily.
Yeah, he launched that one into the first row. One hopped it up to the wall. He had to get rid of it. He ended up getting picked up off the ground by Willie Young, who up until 3 or 4 days ago was his teammate.
So that'll bring Dustin Hopkins out to the field. Attempt a 36-yard field goal. And he sneaks it inside. The left upright, 36-yarder is good. And the longest drive of the night for the Bills at 12 plays. They score, and it is 35-6 now. Detroit over the Bills. We'll take a local break. Best one of the night for Buffalo. 12 plays, covered 52 yards, ate up almost 6 minutes off of the clock, and it was capped off by that 36-yard field goal from Dustin Hopkins, who is, you know, there was some concern. You lose a guy like Ryan Lindell and all that he's done, but
he hasn't missed.
No, he has not missed, and that's good.
Well, that's the first step, no question about it. Now let's see if he can do it in overtime for a game winner.
Right. From
over 50.
Kicks it deep. Flag down as Riddick takes it from 7 yards out. The Bills were offsides. And a nice special teams play down there to stop Riddick in his tracks by Tashard Choice. There is that flag there. The Bills were offsides. Bill Vinovich.
Offside. Kicking team number 20. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Detroit keeps the ball. First down. Timeout.
So Choice got down there, got a little head start. We'll take a timeout, a network break actually, with 9:02 to go here in the third. Detroit 35, Buffalo 6. Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker up in the booth. On the sidelines, Mike Catalana bringing you Buffalo Bills preseason football action. 35-6 Lions over the Bills. 9:02 left in this third quarter as Detroit has the ball. 1st and 10 from just outside their own 18-yard line. Brian Scott joining the group. Kellen Moore in at quarterback.
And now the Bills take a timeout. They didn't like the personnel they've got on the field. And Brian Scott tried to run out there. Now Doug Marrone's coming over and talking to the official. I think it might have to do with the radio.
Yeah, Brian Smith, you see the green dot on the back of that helmet. That means he's the signal caller. He gets the radio voice in his head.
And they didn't have anybody on the field, or the radio was broken, so the Bills get the opportunity to
make that
fix
change.
that.
Yeah, no timeout charged.
Yeah, no timeout.
Miller takes the handoff, finds a little bit of room. It's stopped on the play by Jonathan Meeks after a gain of 4.
Both teams with still all their hot timeouts left in this second half. And Bills looking at a 29-point deficit. It's Mike Pettin calling defenses, and really calling defenses, I think, at this point, to give his guys a chance to compete, no question, but he wants to see his guys do certain things. He'll call a defense to see a guy run a technique that he wants to evaluate him on, let alone the down and distance.
Miller makes a guy miss in the backfield and then stays alive. Miller close to midfield. Finally, Scott pushes him out of bounds. Another point on the defense, Steve. I would say less than half the amount of blitzing that we've seen in previous games.
Yeah.
They are not doing that tonight.
Yeah, they're not sending very many extra people, although we saw
Edwards make the one sack on the blitz, but
he made that. Yeah, they got the Kip Edwards made the sack on a blitz on an extra, but you see, you're right. This is a little bit different style of defense they're asking these guys to play tonight than they have earlier in the preseason.
1st and 10 in the Bills' territory after that 24-yard pickup. Theo Riddick.
You talk about how this game and how this preseason has progressed, and everything is focused, obviously, on evaluating the people on the roster so you can cut down to the 53, but you need those 53 because you've got the Patriots coming in here September 8th for a 1 o'clock game. And that's what everything is pointing towards for this club. I mean, the Patriots game, Brady and Belichick and that crew coming in to face these Buffalo Bills, you've got to get your guys ready to play that game, and you got to find the guys that'll do it best.
2nd and 7, and Riddick tries to bump it outside. Nowhere to go there as Searcy comes up from the secondary position to make the stop. You know, I saw New England play Detroit last week as you look at the schedule here coming up, Steve, and they didn't put a lot of fear into me. They look like they're struggling a little bit to find replacements for all the receivers they lost.
Yeah, in fact, this Lions team made the news because they were kind of talking a lot of smack to the New England Patriots, guys getting in Tom Brady's face. You see there, New England, Carolina, 3 of the first 4 here at the Ralph. And New England bookended by those first 4 games by New England and Baltimore, the defending world champions.
3rd and 8. Trying to set up the screen. Moore has nowhere to go with it. Again, nice read by the Bills defense as Brian Smith just took it away.
Yeah, and that's hard to do because the defenders are standing over there and the quarterback's standing there looking to throw it at him. It takes a lot of discipline not to rush the quarterback in that situation. You get used to doing it, and then you see nobody's even, they know the plan. They're going to let that quarterback just stand back there and pump fake that thing as much as he wants. It's tough not to rush him, but the Bills did a nice job of it in reading that screen.
Good call by Mike Pettin, had Smith man-to-man on the back. So Klingon comes on to punt, and Butler is back for the Bills. High, short kick. Butler makes the fair catch signal and the grab at the 10-yard line. And that's where the Bills will take over after that 31-yard punt. No return. Buffalo has the football trailing 35-6. We'll take a local break and bring you more action on the backside. Don't miss the excitement at Ralph Wilson Stadium on Sunday, September 15th, when the Bills host Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. In addition to the action on the field, halftime will feature a tribute to members of the Bills Wall of Fame. That's Sunday, September 15th, right here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. To purchase tickets, log on to BuffaloBills.com. That Week 2 battle between Buffalo and Carolina.
I think Bills fans are going to be really excited to see the starting 11 on this defense. Mike Pettin in this defense, along with the new refurbished skill players for their Bills offense.
Handoff to Gaskins. He gets hit in the backfield, avoids that tackle, picks up a couple on the play. And, Thad Lewis has stepped in here and kind of taken over. I've been impressed, at least with the way he's run things. Obviously, he doesn't have a big menu of plays to go from, but, no one cares about my opinion, but I think he won that job over Leinart tonight.
Well, the fact that they replaced Leinart early in the second quarter when we had suspected they'd go each a half and a half, and Leinart came out, the 2 interceptions, trying to force the longer throw in, giving up another interception, and they've been with Thad Lewis the rest of the night, and it looks like he's going to finish this game up.
Gaskins picks up 6. Let's go down to the sideline and Mike Catalano.
Yeah, guys, we know that the Bills picked him up from the Lions, but the year before when he was with the Browns, we mentioned he got 1 start. It was late in the year, right after Christmas, and he got a start against the #1 defense in the NFL in 2012, the Steelers. 22 of 32 for over 200 yards and a touchdown. They lost the game, but he made a big impression around the league, stepping right in.
Thank you, Mike. 3rd and 3, and he'll hand this one off to Gaskins. He makes a nice cut up the field on the zone read and picks up the first down after a gain of 5.
You talk about what this team is going to look like when the regular season kicks off, and you think the first guy offensively you think about is C.J. Spiller, who has really showed flashes of greatness here early in this preseason. He hasn't played very much, but there were a couple of games, particularly that opening game against Indianapolis and some of the Minnesota game. He was scary for a defense to face. I think it's going to be exciting to watch him run.
Lewis keeps the ball on the zone read, finds a little bit of a gap, picks up 12 off the left side, loses his hat, but picks up a first down.
And this is a quarterback just making a choice and deciding he's got a better shot at it, pulls it right out of there. Late in this play, his helmet comes off, and it's never a good thing. But it is a first down.
Lewis with 4 carries for 33 yards tonight. And while they have timeout on the field, we'll take one up here as well. A network timeout with 4:05 to go in the third. Detroit 35, Buffalo 6. 35-6, Lions over the Bills. Marcus Easley got injured on this play, Steve.
Yeah, and he jumps over the top of this, and you think it's hard to see. And it looks like he got kicked by Lewis as Lewis rolled over. Easley got up, and you'll see as he jumps over,
Hey, what's the
watch
problem, man? We
Lewis's
don't get
foot come
paid
up and
enough
whack
for
him
this,
right in the
dude.
back of the
I
thigh
gotta
right
discover
there. That
the perfect plan to
may
make
be
one.
where he got hurt. He came off limping just a hair, but seems to be okay.
1st and 10. Lewis hands this one off straight up the middle as Gaskins gets a couple more. Gaskins, the rookie free agent out of Richmond.
And of course, we saw earlier Chris Hogan, who was down after that kickoff return. He's back in the game.
That's good
In
news.
the huddle. No wonder he was laughing when they helped him up. I guess he's going to be all right.
The Bills have pretty much doubled their rushing output here in the second half from the first.
Well, you can see now, too, they're going 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts, and a back, and they're just handing it off and pounding the football, trying to get some first downs on the ground, grinding it out here in the third quarter.
Makes that clock go a little faster
Here
as
comes
well.
easily back on. So both these guys, and I say it's amazing how your need to make the football team makes you less pain.
Yeah.
Less pain. You shake that pain off a little better when you know you've got to get back in the game to earn a spot.
Desperation.
Easily
is
and Hogan
is a
both.
fast healer.
Yeah.
Bills just 3 of 12 on third down conversions. This a 3rd down and 7. Lewis from the gun. Throws one up the seam and overshoots his intended receiver, the tight end Chris Gregg, and the Lion came down awkwardly and is injured on the play. Trying to get a number on there. It looks like number 47.
Martavius Nellums.
Hate to see that with anyone as the Detroit medical staff takes a look at Nellums. We'll take a local timeout with 2:43 to go here in the third. It's Detroit 35, Buffalo 6. 5-6 Detroit over Buffalo as Nellums was helped off the field. It didn't look like anyone hit him, Steve.
No, it didn't, but he went down hard, and it looked to me, as you and I always kind of speculate, it looks like a pulled hamstring to me, or maybe a calf muscle.
Yeah.
The way he got up, he grabs low on his foot, but something gave out. There was a non-contact injury.
Powell on to punt this one away. Spurlock deep for the Lions, and this one drives him back to his 10-yard line. Makes the first man miss and gets it out to the 25, a 15-yard return after the punt.
Very good punt down there by Powell.
Well, he's had enough work on it tonight.
No doubt about it. As poor as the Bills have been on third down because of their quarterback situation, Powell's gotten a workout in. And so have those kick covers. And the Bills coaching staff
A lot of good
wants
film to evaluate.
Yeah, they want to know who can do it, believe me.
Kellen Moore up under center. Chapis and Miller in the backfield behind him. And Miller on a lead play, bounces it outside, cuts back in, and runs into Heath and Scott after a gain of 5.
Miller, one of those guys, small guy, shifty, really bounces it around, runs sideways very fast, and can get through a hole and run through traffic. He's one of those guys that doesn't like to get touched in traffic, and he can get through there without being touched. The guy's really, really quick laterally, and that's what causes the defense problems sometimes, because if he can get down low, they have a hard time sorting him out behind all the big offensive linemen.
Miller, a free agent out of Appalachian State. Second and 5. Blitz comes. And Miller makes the blitzer miss and picks up the first down all the way down inside the 40, but there is a flag down on the play, and believing that 10-yard gain will come back.
Number 45, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Sean Chapis, the fullback, little holding. Doug Marrone, expression doesn't change a whole lot.
There's the penalty right there. They come off the end. He grabs right across, and he just kind of goes on for the ride right there.
Yeah, you get 2 points for that in wrestling.
Yeah.
So after the flag, it's second down and 15 now for the Lions. The Bills seemed like they went a little bit early, and the ball came out, and they're going to take a look at it. But the nose tackle, Terrell Troop, third-year man out of Central Florida.
Defense number 98. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Wasn't watching the ball. It was
Well,
right
I
under
don't-
his nose,
Yeah,
but he wasn't watching.
Right here. And it's interesting, too, because Caton doesn't even snap the ball, and he's the center.
I must mention Darren Keaton out of Central Michigan University.
You have to?
Chip, I do. I'm honor bound. That one's batted up in the air and intercepted by Brian Scott. Nice play by the Bills defense. Coverage down the field, outstanding, and Kellen Moore makes the egregious error of throwing back across his body late in the down, and the Bills make him pay for it.
Yeah, he's moving out, and not as comfortable when he's outside the pocket. He's a pure passer. Watch as he moves out. He's looking back over the middle
Eyes on
late.
cross with the
And
tip.
eyes on cross. Gets his hands up, and then, that ball gets batted up into the air. It's never it's almost never good for the offense.
Third takeaway of the night for the Bills. Lewis going for a home run. Hogan incomplete. He was looking for the receiver on the play action. Had to overthrow it a little bit. Good coverage by the Lions.
Yeah, Hogan was gonna have to make a play on that one. Really, Lewis didn't really give him an opportunity to make a play on the ball. And you got to feel like a quarterback who knows his receivers is going to throw that in a spot where at least his receiver can make a play on it, and trust him to keep the defender away from it.
2nd and 10. Gaskins gets stopped after a short gain of 1. Coming off the backside for the Lions making that play is Xavier Proctor.
Somebody's staying down.
Legursky holding his left knee. Legursky's had a pretty good night. We've seen the Bills make a lot of their rushing yards on that left side behind him.
What happens so often is guys block. You see him up here, and he gets
lands
rolled
on.
in.
Hyperextended that knee and that leg.
Right here is Legursky, and you see right there, and you're not supposed to bend that way. That hurts. Goodness gracious. Legursky, one of the things you notice, you get these offensive linemen, you watch them practice during training camp, and they're all standing out there, and these guys are all behemoths. I mean, they're all enormous. Legursky is about 6 inches shorter than all of them, but you get the feeling, and I said this in the opening game of the preseason, he's the guy you pick for the bar fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy who is a nasty fighter, scrappy guy who wants to compete every down, and that's, there's a place for guys like that in the NFL. There always has been, and I'm kind of sure there's always going to be.
6'1", 315 pounds. I found I always had more trouble with the shorter offensive linemen. They just had the leverage on you. Those tall guys, you get under their pads, straighten them up a little bit. But
the shorter those guys are, the fewer handles they have.
Right.
You can't. There's
It's
nothing
like-
to grab.
It's like trying to hit a dump truck.
That's trying to. Yeah, and it's a little bit like trying to like those nose tackles. The best nose tackles aren't those 6'8" guys. They're those
No.
6'3"
You're right.
guys that are real. And they're heavier from the waist down than they are from the waist up. It's like trying to push a tree stump.
Built low to the ground. Let's go down to the sidelines. Mike Catalana with more information on Doug Legursky.
Yeah, well, we know he's from the farthest away of any of the Buffalo Bills, from Frankfurt, Germany, and they've been really happy with how he's played. Now, he's lost out to Colin Brown, really, for that starting guard spot, but he was versatile, and that's what the coaches liked about him. And as Steve and you guys both were saying, that he's a guy that gives that all-out effort. Also a popular guy with his teammates, too, and that's why you see a lot of them out there right now checking on him as the cart comes out. Doug Legursky's done a lot of good things so far in this camp.
You think about this, and we talk a lot about these guys trying to make a football team, and they are. Everybody on the Lions side, on the Bills side. Doug Legursky's been there at the offseason. He's been training all the way through training camp. He's been trying his hardest to find a spot on this roster, trying to earn a starting job on this roster. He's been working through the OTAs, training hard, and now late in the third quarter of the last preseason game, something like this happens. And I don't want to speculate on how serious this injury is, but this is what the guys risk. Everything he's invested in this season physically is on the line right there. I mean, he may get up and walk off and be fine, but they're carting him off right now, and that's as bad as it gets for an NFL player. You don't want to be carried off. And all that he's invested, along with all these other young guys, a first-year head coach in Doug Marrone, a new general manager here in Buffalo. You got your #1 draft pick who's had a knee injury. You've got your veteran quarterback who's had a concussion. And you've got C.J. Spiller, who went down with an injury last week. It turned out it was just a cut on his knee. All this stuff happens. You never know what's going to happen week to week in the NFL, and that's a perfect example.
3rd and 9, Lewis running away from the pressure. Lewis picks up the first down with a nice scramble. Thaddeus Lewis making some plays with his legs, picks up 11 and moves the chains.
And that is as good a play as they've made all night. That was an excellent run. And look at big number 95 for the Lions. Go ahead, say it. Ogimbi
I'm going to let you
and Wagbo.
feast on that one.
Yeah, Nuobo. And that was a nice job by him.
All right, we head into the 4th quarter. Lions over the Bills 35-6. We'll take a network break. Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker. Mike Catalana on the sidelines. The final 15 minutes of the Bills' 2013 preseason is about to unfold. Thaddeus Lewis in at quarterback. He's done a nice job with his legs throughout the day. 5 carries, 44 yards. Throws this one complete to Easley out on the left side down to the 13-yard line. The Bills, prior to that play, had just 23 passing yards in the ball game. That's what happens when your quarterbacks haven't had any practice.
Right, when they've had 2 practices and they're playing against a defense that's been practicing for 6 weeks together.
Lewis now 4 of 10 for 31 yards through the air. 2nd and 5 in the shotgun. Hands it to Gaskins. He'll push his way up near the 10-yard line. Bring up a 3rd down and call it a long 2 for Buffalo.
Brings up 3rd and 3 for the Bills.
Buffalo's converted 4 of 14 3rd down attempts thus far. Lewis throws a slant. That one gets batted up, incomplete, falls harmlessly to the ground as he was trying to fit it into Marcus Easley.
Bills electing to go for it here on 4th and 3 late in the game. Why not? Give your offense a chance to be successful.
Right, and they're fairly confident that Hopkins is going to be okay. Hasn't missed one yet, so.
And to tell you how bad a night it was, we were thinking about making Hopkins the player of the game.
Lewis keeps it on the zone read, and Detroit sniffs it out. McIntosh stays home, makes the play, and it'll turn over on downs. As we take a local break here in the 4th quarter, it's the Lions 35, Bills 6 with 13:48 left in the contest. 35-6, Lions over the Bills here in the 4th quarter of the 4th and final preseason game of this year. Bills open up against New England here at home on September 8th, 1 o'clock start. Get things rolling. Meanwhile, the Lions open up the season at home against Minnesota. Kellen Moore staying in at quarterback under the center. 1st and 10 from his own 12. Hands off to Miller, and Miller runs into some trouble. And that's Brian Scott making the tackle, one of the linebackers with this Bills outfit, as you see the battle brewing here.
They'll probably keep 6 guys. Moses played well tonight. Jerry Hughes, no question, he's really had a great camp.
Yes.
Keith Pugh played a lot tonight as well. All those guys did. Jamal Westerman was a late signing during training camp who has impressed, and he's a bigger sized linebacker than some of the other guys. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they take. And a lot of those guys, it just depends on how they cover kicks.
Doughton has had a pretty decent night. Marcus Doughton, interception on the first drive. As Moore shoots this one incomplete, intended for Corey Fuller, the 7th round draft pick for Detroit.
That pass was a little low and behind, it looked like to me.
Duke Williams ends up breaking it up.
Well covered there. There's some points in the first half and throughout the game, the Bills secondary has struggled to stay with these Lion receivers. The Lions never hesitated to put the ball in the air tonight.
3rd down and 9 for Kellen Moore and the Detroit Lions. And they'll keep it on the ground. Chapis gets knocked back at the 15-yard line. Nice hit coming up from the secondary by Jordan Dangerfield. And that'll bring the punt team out.
And your watch as Dangerfield comes up right here, and
boom.
That was a good collision right there that stopped the forward progress of the big fullback, and that was an exclamation point on the end of that run.
Yeah, Westerman had him by the legs and held him up a little bit. Dangerfield came in and gave him no respect.
You've been waiting all preseason.
I've been dying for that one. Trevin Butler back to return this punt as Blake Klingon, who has done all the punting tonight for Detroit, hits this one high, short kick. Fair catch called for and made by Butler at the 43-yard line. That's where the Bills will matriculate the offense.
Now there's the starting 5 offensive linemen, as you see, and Sam Young, Snow, Legursky, Welch, and Caldwell started this game tonight. And none of these guys saw the field. And I'm starting to get, by my count, over 20 players on the roster didn't see the field tonight for the Bills, and it was about the same for the Lions. I mean, they held out about 20 of their players as well. Both teams throwing all their guys in there and letting them sink or swim.
And also trying to keep the top, half of the roster healthy as possible. Lewis throws
Nice
it outside,
change of
hits Provo, and Provo was very close to the first down.
And that's a nice job of ball handling by Lewis there.
Provo made this team at an April minicamp, came on as a tryout guy and got signed later on.
There's a fake counter play, then he pops out, finds Provo sneaking out the backside. The Lions weren't watching, and it was up to Chris White, the former Bill, to run that play down.
9 yards on that play brings up a 2nd down and 1. Play action, Lewis to the edge, gets that one out. Nice throw, nice play by Lewis. He finds his new favorite target, Nick Provo, for 19.
Do we have some chemistry forming?
Yeah. I've been impressed with Thaddeus Lewis and his ability to make things happen with his feet.
Well, and let's face it, he's had to do that tonight, because when you're running an offense you're really unfamiliar with, and with players you're unfamiliar with plays you're unfamiliar with, you have to do something to keep him alive and try and make something happen. He's done a nice job of it. He seems poised doing it.
Lewis takes the shot down the field, overshoots easily. Took the shot.
Just out of reach. The last thing Lewis wants to do is throw an interception at this point of the game. Wanted to give Easley a chance to make the play. Easley can't catch up to this one. Bills huddling up, and that's something they did not do the entire preseason.
Yeah, they're not running their normal offense.
This is not the team that, this is nothing close to the team, obviously, that will take the field in about 10 days against New England.
5th play of the drive, handoff, as Kendall Gaskins will gain a yard.
And Rocky McIntosh put a nice little lick on him right there at the end of that run.
McIntosh signed just a couple of weeks ago by the Lions and stepped up and done a nice job for them. As Marcus Easley comes back into the ball game.
We make a big deal out of this roster cut down. This is from 75 down to 53, and it's the worst day in football, because nobody wants to say goodbye to players who have worked hard to make your club and done everything you've asked of them. but they're also about on average 1 or 2 players per team that will be taken off the waiver wire from other teams.
Lewis scrambles and slides in at the 35, 36 yard, actually 26 yard line, just shy of the first down.
So when all these clubs cut guys away, and when the Lions make their final cut to the Bills and every team in the NFL, most teams will scour that list and pick a couple of guys up that may fill out their roster. If they don't like the depth they have here or there, they'll grab a guy that got cut from another team rather than one of the guys that they've got on their own roster at any given moment during the preseason.
So on 4th and 2, Buffalo goes for it. Lewis hits the slant to Easley, and he just drops it. Yeah, that was a good throw, a good play. But a drop, a bad play by Easley, and that'll turn the ball over on downs. We'll take a local timeout with 9:29 to go. It's 35 for the Lions, 6 for Buffalo. 35-6, Detroit over Buffalo here. 9:29 left to go in the 4th quarter. Kellen Moore still in at quarterback for the Lions.
And both these clubs getting in their last few repetitions of the preseason for 2013. Getting ready to open up the regular season. Finally.
Moore on a power play to the left, and Miller tries to shake it and bust it outside, but no going there as Jordan Dangerfield steps up with another play.
Now that was a nice tackle.
Take a look at this schedule for the first half of the season for the Bills. As
Speaking
we
of
mentioned,
opening up, yeah, there you go.
New England coming in here week 1. That's a great way to get things started.
Yeah, they like to start the season off with those division games, and then of course save the other division games for the end of the season when the division could be won or lost in the last month. I think it's a great way to do the schedule for the NFL.
Dangerfield with a tackle for a loss on that last play, 2nd and 11, and nowhere for Miller to go as Brian Scott comes up, makes the play along with Cross, and here's the second half of this Bills 2013 schedule.
And there you see the ending of the season with 2 division games. Of course, the New York Jets they get earlier in the second half of the season, but Kansas City, the Jets, Atlanta, Miami, all coming up to Buffalo. The Atlanta game December 1st, 4:05 in Toronto.
3rd down and 12 for Detroit. Moore shoots it down the sidelines, going deep and just over the outstretched hands of Matt Willis. As Willis got behind the corner over on that side.
It looked like he short-armed it when he reached out to extend for the football. It doesn't look like he fully extends. We'll see here. Yeah, he didn't extend his arms.
You're right. Butler was beat deep over the top. Butler back to return this punt. And the Lions having some confusion on their special teams. They've had guys
take a timeout,
running in, running out. They are going to have to use a timeout, and they call it the first timeout of the Lions here in the second half. So we'll take one as well. A network timeout with 7:59 to go. It's Detroit 35, Buffalo 6. 35-6, Detroit over Buffalo. 7:59 to go here in the 2013 preseason. As Klingen's on to punt this one away. 4th and 12 for the Lions as you see President Butler come over the sidelines to get some last-second instructions.
Standing 45 yards away from the line of scrimmage.
Short kick. He's going to let that one bounce. And it takes a nice Lions bounce all the way down near the 20, out at the 21-yard line. A 53-yard boot for Blake Klingen. And Thad Lewis in the Buffalo Bills offense take the field, and we'll take it down to the field as well with Mike Catalano.
Yeah, guys, you know, earlier at training camp, Doug Marrone had brought in Kevin Mawae through the NFL's fellowship coaching program. And you know Mawae, 8-time Pro Bowl center with the Jets when Marrone was with the Jets as an offensive line coach. And he really worked with Bills center Eric Wood. And Wood had said he looked up to Mawae, studied tapes of him, and then the chance to work with him one-on-one during training camp, invaluable. He'll take that with him during the season.
Thanks, Mike. Lewis takes a shot down the sidelines. This time Easley's able to bring it in, and Marcus Easley's going to go all the way to the house. A 79-yard touchdown pass from Thaddeus Lewis to Marcus Easley.
Well, there's the big play that the Bills were looking for. And as you were jokingly telling me, the Bills are up 10-0 in the second half now.
Yeah.
Or 7.
There's a
9-0
bright spot.
actually, but Easley finally connecting on a pass down the sidelines. Great throw by Thad Lewis. As the Bills finally make something nice little slant and go.
Little sluggo route, and they beat Chris Greenwood. And Thaddeus Lewis has been impressive. He's gotten better as this game's gone on. He's shown the ability to create and make plays with his feet, and he just dinged a long ball.
One of the reasons he's been successful is his ability to run the football. They could call plays for Thad Lewis that they could not call for Matt Leinart.
And the extra point from Hopkins is good. And it gives us a 35-13 score, Detroit over Buffalo, with 7:35 to go here in the fourth quarter.
There's been 5 one-play scoring drives in this game tonight. That was one of them for the Buffalo Bills. Both teams combined.
So some fireworks here. Wake up this crowd that's left. Time to dance and sing.
The Bills fans love the shout song, and it's become part of the landscape here in Western New York. I got to tell you, every team's got their quirky little song that they play after they, and every team plays it every time, whatever the song might be. It's fun to go around and listen to those songs that other teams play for their after they score, either field goal, extra point, whatever it may be, and to see, you know, the crowd coming. They love their song as much as Western New York fans love the Bills shout song.
As long as you're not playing against them. You don't want to hear that song.
Listen, we've been there. We've all been there where you hear that song so many times. You can sing it on the plane home.
Super Bowl 26, I learned the Redskins fight song by halftime. Stephen Miller brings it out of the end zone. I'm not sure what Brian Smith was looking at as he was down there. Looked like in position to make the tackle, and he just kind of 2 ships in the night, just ran past Miller.
Miller, if he would have tried to stop, he would have broken his ankle. This is late in the play, so this is later. But before that, when he caught the football, he made a move right when he caught the ball that left a lot of guys standing.
Leave a little laundry on the field. And I'm not talking about a flag. So Hopkins, after making the kick, also gets down there and helps on the tackle. And Miller gets the ball and pushes the pile, giving him 6 yards on the pickup.
And here's a moment ago we talked about it, and some of the stuff that happens. Watch as they come in off this corner here. Whoop.
You could blow a tire doing something like that.
You hurt yourself trying to go back and get that one. That was.
You have to go have the brakes looked at.
Yeah. If you've got contained, you just blew it.
2nd and 3 for the Lions. Chapis and Miller in the backfield. Miller nowhere to go this time. That interior of the Bills defensive line bows up. Pugh in on the stop. Along with the big man Cross getting up off the bottom of that pile.
Gilbert, Cross down inside. Terrell Troop down inside as well. Those guys tasked with stopping those inside runs, and late in the game, especially on a 3rd and 1.5, you're going to have to get heavy down inside.
Quick pitch to the outside, and the speed of Stephen Miller picks up the first down, almost into Bills territory. They mark him out at the Lions 48, gain of 14 on the play.
And that's just a misdirection.
Yeah.
With a guy with that kind of speed, and Miller's, I mean, we've been watching him. He is a fast, quick kind of running back. When you misdirect a guy like that, you better be on it. Well, that's an easy pickup, and there it turned into a big play.
That play, called Flip 90, made famous by Marshall Faulk back in the greatest show on turf days. 1st and 10 for Detroit. Keep it on the ground. And once again, Miller will pick up 5-6 yards off the left side. And off the bottom of that pile is Brian Smith. Smith said, "I'll get you." He got him that time. Missed him on the kickoff.
Missed him on the kickoff.
I'll get you.
Finally got a chance to touch him, at least, because he whiffed on that kickoff.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. I almost tackled Barry Sanders once.
A lot of guys.
I mean, I had him.
That's a long list of guys that almost tackled him.
2nd and 4 for the Lions. As the clock winds down, right around 4.5 minutes left. Nowhere to go this time as
Lost
Miller,
his footing.
yeah, he slips on the cut, and Gilbert gets the penetration, gets the tackle for the loss.
It used to be that in the middle of the field, you see there they're standing on the charging Buffalo insignia in the middle of the field. That used to be a helmet that was painted on the field. Now this is actual blue and red and white turf that is embedded in it. It's like real turf. It's just like the green turf. It used to be painted, and every time you'd step on it, it was slippery.
Well, I remember back in the day, the grain of the field went towards the opponent's bench.
That's
and
right.
if it's wet, you couldn't run that way and plant your foot and cut back. So we would just laugh when people would try to run the sweep that way. Of course, we knew better, never did.
That's right. That was the old ground rules. He had to be in.
Fuller makes the catch on the slant, picks up 7.
There's also some other stuff ground rule, and I change the subject from football, but you know how it is in this field from the scoreboard into this stadium, which on your television screens is the left end of the stadium. The far side, the visitor side where the Lions bench is, that corner out in here. On a windy day in Buffalo, do not throw a pass or kick a ball into that corner. It'll come right back at you. The first game I ever played as Buffalo Bill, 45-mile-an-hour winds. We won the game because the Steelers tried to throw it into that corner. It got blown short and intercepted. We win, they lose.
I remember it well. Marv Levy's first game as a head coach with Buffalo.
That's
also
correct.
My first start as Chapis takes it off the left side.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, from that moment, the team got better when you and I got to the scene, right? It wasn't the fact that they had a handful of Hall of Famers in the room when we got there.
Right.
It was us.
I like to put it this way. 1986, that was the year. And
yeah.
Of course, we ended up 4-12, but shortly thereafter, next thing you know, we're going to Super Bowl after Super Bowl. So it took us a while to turn it around, Steve, but hey, we got her done.
You and I were the brakes, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
They got to stop from going down. We were the wedge they stuck under the wheel to keep it from rolling any further.
Whatever we could do to help out, glad to do. Chapis gets it again, and no room in
Somebody
the middle.
else that was somebody else's first year is Marv. I think it was I think he wore 12. I can't remember who it was, but
Yeah, some quarterback kid.
he showed up at that point.
It wasn't bad.
The next year or two, they showed up. Conlon showed up, which really
Cornelius Bennett.
was the those two linebackers really.
Oh, we needed linebackers.
We needed
at the
linebackers.
time.
We had nobody. We could go on for hours.
Right. How bad can I beat myself up here?
Don't worry, Val. I'll help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. As we wind down
I got plenty of bullets.
2-minute warning. 35-13, Detroit ahead of Buffalo. We'll take a local timeout and come back with the final 2 minutes of the Bills 2013 preseason. Our Blue Rock Energy player of the game, Marcus Doughton. Got things started out first series. Makes the interception here. Also had a pressure and 3 tackles on the night. So your Blue Rock Energy player of the game, Marcus Doughton.
Running that play down from behind, and there he is.
Dowden, second-year man out of North Alabama. Played 3 games with the Jets.
You know,
last year.
He's a perfect example of one of the things that's different about this 2013 edition of the Buffalo Bills from the last year or two in the most recent past. These linebackers are young and they're really athletic. Not as experienced as the crews have been in the past, but these guys can run sideline to sideline, and they're really athletic down inside, starting not only with guys like Doughton, but also with Kiko Alonso as well.
Nowhere for Stephen Miller to go as the ball gets ripped out by Brian Scott. He's heading the other way, and the whistle had already blown.
That's one of the things we've talked about, and what this team's going to look like on opening day against the Patriots here September 8th. It's a lot different than they look tonight. Preferably, they'll have a lot more production offensively and defensively.
Well, they'll be able to run their offense.
Well, that's true, but the guys they have on the outside, the receivers that they've put together with Robert Woods, Stevie Johnson, T.J. Graham, and this Chris Hogan, who may make the team or may not, but Marcus Easley, and of course
Goodwin.
Marquise Goodwin. All those guys, they really upgraded the speed at that position. Guys that'll give Stevie Johnson a lot of help and take some attention away from him, make him perhaps more productive.
Klingen's punt goes into the end zone for a touchback, and the Bills will have the ball at the 20 when we come return here after this network timeout. Minute 9 left, 35-13 Lions over the Bills. 35-13 Lions over the Bills. I want to give thanks to our affiliates on the Buffalo Bills preseason network: WKBW-TV in Buffalo, WHAM-TV in Rochester, WTVH in Syracuse, and WBNG in Binghamton. And also thank you to Time Warner Cable. Run up the middle, Gaskins. Nowhere to go. As the clock now hits a minute and counting.
It's interesting, Thad Lewis back in there. What's going through his mind? He's got to be at least encouraged by the showing he put forth tonight. He's played the last 3 quarters of the football game on a team he's only been a part of for 3 days. Of course, Doug Marrone not going to be happy with the result tonight. He knows bigger and better things are ahead of this team. None of the starters for the Buffalo Bills offense or defense saw the field tonight as Doug Marrone wanted to look at these younger players, and I think he found some things out. Some of them may be a concern for him, but I think most of that has to do with the depth of his defensive backfield and perhaps up in the defensive front, perhaps. But on the whole, there's no question Doug Marrone is starting to build a team that he likes, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see what this team looks like with their full complement of starters.
Thad Lewis had 7 carries for 51 yards and also hit 7 of 16 through the air, including that 79-yard touchdown bomb to Marcus Easley for the Bills' lone touchdown of the night. And that wraps it up, 35-13, Lions over the Bills. Give me what you got, Steve.
Ray, thanks. It was great. Nice 4 games. It started out with a bang, kind of left with a whimper here due to the quarterback situation, and then pulling in all the sails and kind of coasting to the finish here in the preseason. But I do think it was an exciting preseason for the Bills players and this organization. I think this is a team that really feels like it's on the upswing.
Yeah, our 6 years together, I'm more enthused about the Bills' progress and the direction they're heading right now than I have been in these past 6 years.
I got to agree with you. Thanks, man. It's been fun.
Thank you. We'll be back to wrap things up from Orchard Park after we take this network time out. Once again, the Lions beat the Bills 35-13 here in the final preseason game of 2013.